Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my review of the Acolyte episode number 4. So, we just last week got episode 3, which, um, to say the least, was not popular with most people. They sort of claim, a lot of people think that it broke Star Wars. Um, it just wasn't a very good episode, period. The writing was very weak. The acting was even weaker. A lot of this, some of the stuff that was in the episode, you could, if you searched hard enough, justify it in the Star Trek lore, but a lot of it was just dumb. So, anyways, that episode over. The result of that episode, though, is we see what we think happened to Osha, the good twin, and May, the bad twin, and the involvement of the four Jedi's that May, the bad twin, is trying to kill. But she, of course, escapes, and so now they have to deal with her. So, at the end of episode 3, we saw that Evil Twin is going to kill the Wookiee Jedi. So we start off episode 4 with the just seeing the Jedi Wookiee in his home on this planet that he's hiding on, and starts with him in his home. There's a lot of writings on the wall, which they spend a lot of time showing you, so I assume there's some kind of significance to them, but other than they kind of look like what was on the forehead of the leader of the witches in the episode 3, I have no idea what they're supposed to mean. Um, so this episode in total is it's not great, but it's not bad. Um, you basically um, finally see the ultimate evil, I guess, in this episode, which is the Sith, right at the end. So, and that's it. It's a very short episode. It's just kind of like Sith reveal or the evil guy reveal, and it's over. So it's like, what? What? That's it. So, yeah, I was kind of disappointed at the end of it. It's like they just make a suggestion of the Sith character, and you know he's bad because he's got a red lightsaber, which he ignites. And in this picture, this is just before he, or just when he's appeared, and all the Jedi. We got the characters that were introduced, and then what I call the red shirt Jedi, which is a thing from Star Trek that the characters that always got killed were crewmen wearing red shirts. So these guys are, I think, the equivalent of red shirts, and that they'll get disposed of. But the three main characters here that you see will survive. Um, but yeah, there's some back and forth jumping between Evil Twin and Good Twin and Coruscant and the Wookiee planet. Ultimately, they, for no real reason, lots of the dialogue is kind of stupid in this, very stupid in a lot of places, not particularly well written or anything. So I don't blame the actors when they're given crap. It's not surprising that some of the acting is not up to scratch. Um, there's no real action in this episode other than when Squid Game Jedi cuts a flying bug in half. We Osha seems to get upset that they had to kill it because she was the one that woke it up. But it's like, it's some kind of bug. And the bug seemed to, they were saying, someone in the background says that it seemed to be attracted to a lightsaber. So it's some kind of creature that maybe likes lightsabers or force sensitive. I'm not sure what. There is in the canon creatures that do feed off the force, so maybe this is an example of it, although this creature is not what you see in the books where they describe the creatures that feed off uh, the force. So we see the evil twin go to the planet, gonna go get the Wookiee, decide that um, it's impossible to kill the Wookiee Jedi or kill a Jedi without a weapon, deciding that it's impossible to do what she's been tasked to do, and deciding that she's not going to do it, deciding she's going to hand herself over to the Jedi. So this happens throughout the episode. The only thing of interest, she's accompanied by, from episode 3, the chemist. I thought as soon as I saw him that he's like looks like Ezra Miller, so to me he's a discount Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller was the actor who played the Flash in the recent DC Justice League movies. But for some reason, he's coming along with the Evil Twin, just I guess so she has somebody to talk to. Um, but the interesting thing from it, or the reveal from their conversations at the start of the episode and moving through it, is they keep referring to a hymn, some hymn that May that's the Evil Twin, uh, is working with, being influenced by, has an agreement with, apparently, as does Discount Ezra Miller. They're afraid that he will kill them. So they're very, very much saying he. So pushing you along that avenue in the direction of who the bad guy is going to be. Um, but ultimately, Evil Twin does say that she's not going to kill the Wookiee and goes to confront them. And they find him dead with a very obvious lightsaber gash on his chest, which is still smoking when she shows up. Um, so on the good side, we have Osha and Squid Game Jedi and his band of red shirts, and their whole thing is they're going to track down and find May because they need to find out how she or who she received her training from, because they're concerned that there's which ultimately I think we all know is going to be the Sith that start appearing. So a lot of their interactions don't necessarily make a lot of mistake and make a lot of sense, and some of them are pretty dumb, but they kind of ploddingly move forward. Really, the only good part about the episode is the last 2 minutes. It's a very short episode. I was surprised how short it was. You basically get the Sith reveal, and that's it. Nothing more. So you're going to have to tune in for episode 5 to see anything further than that. But on the screen, you can see this. Everybody's got their lightsaber um, drawn. I take issue that some of the people in this picture are using yellow lightsabers, and that is supposed to be only temple guards, Jedi Sentinels, and Jedi Shadows are supposed to be the only ones that use yellow lightsabers. None of these guys are those. So again, when they're always talking about breaking canon, according to the lore, they're not using the right colors. They should all be green or blue, which is Squid Game's using blue, and uh, Yodel, the guy closest in the picture here, or whatever his name is, with a yellow. His Padawan is using green, and somebody else is using green, but he's using yellow, and I don't think he's supposed to use yellow. Anyways, this shot is right near the end of the episode. May has discovered the dead Jedi. Sorry, this is going to be spoiler interview. A bit late to be telling you that now, but May's discovered the dead Wookiee Jedi. They're all outside the building. May's kind of peering at them out the window, and you see kind of a clever reveal. You see them, the Squid Game Jedi constantly is looking pensive in this thing. He's staring off into the distance, and and when they ask him what's wrong, nothing's wrong, whatever. He does say to Osha that once they get May and get back to the ship, he'll explain everything, which could tie back to why in episode 3 at the very end we see all the witches dead on the floor. People are saying that because the Jedi did something and killed all the witches, and that's why the guy that was hovering took the poison. So they're trying to tie this together, but not in a particularly good way. But anyways, they are all looking at the building where May is and demanding she come out, and then they turn the camera around and show Osha just watching them. And then in the background, you can kind of see this dark shape uh, float to the ground, and then comes up directly to Osha and is standing there looking eye to eye with her, and then he ignites the red lightsaber, and he does the old just a little flick of his hand, and she goes tumbling off into the distance, and suddenly all the Jedi who've let their lightsabers go rushing him, and he force pushes them all away very dramatically. End of the episode. So, what did I think of the episode? Um, the good part is that it finally reveals the baddie in this episode. Now, the one thing I'll say about that is there's a lot of there's dialogue between Discount Ezra Miller, who's caught up in a tree somewhere, and May about him. When I saw the Sith with the helmet that you've seen in the trailers and stuff, I look at the build of that baddie, and it says to me it's a woman. The build is, to me, just looks wrong for a man. It is more likely that this evil Sith is a woman. I've heard some speculation, people saying that the one parent of the twins, the one with the horns, is ultimately this Sith, but I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if it's not the green-headed Jedi back in Coruscant, because she's always trying to sort of get in the way. But yeah, when I saw again, I see the guy with or supposedly a guy with the helmet and the red lightsaber. It struck me immediately that the character was too slight in build to be a man. I thought, well, that's a woman. That's a woman in this getup. So, like I said, the best part about this episode is you finally get the reveal of the Sith, the bad guy that they're all sort of think there's around but have no proof of. Well, now they got proof. And because he uses a force push to shove the Jedi's around, you see that he's fairly powerful. That is the one and only redeeming thing of this episode. The rest of the bit is kind of just a waste. A lot of yada yada talking and that kind of stuff. A little bit of humor thrown in with the little badger character that they use to track um, where the Wookiee is. Apparently, they're not as good as Evil May, who's just going to stumble across them. They actually need somebody who can do tracking. But that's about it. Again, it's very short. The dialogue is kind of not great. I mean, a lot of people saying things that don't make a lot of sense. A lot of people doing things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense. That's the stuff back on Coruscant. Um, Interaction between the characters is pretty basic. Oh, I can't kill my sister, so you'll have to do it for me, kind of thing. Squid Game Jedi staring pensively away into the distance all the time, and nothing's wrong. So that's it. Um, this episode is a setup for, I would say, episode 5. I think episode 5 would be definitely worth watching. You have to watch this just to see this episode 4, just to see the Sith reveal. I don't know what it is with the Sith and helmets, but I mean, I've always wondered about why the Jedi and everybody in Star Wars likes cloaks so much. Even the Wookiee at the start had to have his cloak on, even though he's covered in hair, so you wouldn't think he might need, on a jungle planet, might need a cloak to keep himself warm, but who knows. Um, but this episode is kind of a throwaway episode, with the one fact that you ultimately see the Sith reveal, and then immediately jump off for, tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel. That used to be what the Batman TV show used to use. So it does set it up for that episode 5 is going to be, well, there's only 8, so they better get going. But episode 5 should, in theory, now they've shown some of it in the trailer, that there's going to be a fight, and probably a lot of these red shirt Jedis will be dispatched. But yeah, it's a setup episode, so it's a filler episode, but it's also a setup episode, and that's the only reason why you'd want to watch it. Not bad, a bad episode, but not particularly good. It's just okay. Number four. Now I'm sitting here. It's going to be a whole week. I have to wait until episode five. Okay, so that's my opinion of this. Yeah, it's still worth, I think, pursuing the show. I'm not going to stop watching it, if nothing else. And it's like a train wreck. You're fascinated, or a car wreck. You're fascinated by it. But I'm definitely going to be tuning in for episode five to see what comes out of that. Okay, thanks for stopping by.